All right, let's dive in. We're going to take a look at one of the world's most ancient texts, the Bhagavad Gita. But here's the thing. We're not going to treat it like some dusty old book. Instead, we're going to unpack it as what it really is, a strategic roadmap, a super practical guide for navigating the crazy, complex challenges we all face right here, right now.
So let me start with a question I think we've all felt. Have you ever been staring down a decision that's so huge, so tangled up with emotion, that you just freeze? You know that feeling? Complete paralysis. Your mind just goes blank and it feels like there are no good options. Well, that exact state of being stuck, that's our starting point. You see, the Gita kicks off on an actual battlefield, which is pretty dramatic. But the real war, the one that matters, is the one happening inside the hero Arjuna's head. He is facing an absolutely monumental crisis of decision. The whole battlefield setting, it's really just a metaphor for what happens to our minds when we're under extreme pressure. And the Gita gets right to it. It says the first stage of this crisis isn't just, being a little confused. It's a full-on psychological collapse. We're talking about a complete breakdown of your mental and emotional systems when the pressure gets to be too much. It's that moment your internal wiring just overloads and shuts down. And right after that collapse comes stage 2, what you could call cognitive distortion. This is where things get really tricky because even your own intelligence starts to fail you. And why does that happen? Because these powerful emotions, compassion, fear, anxiety, they start to muddy the waters. You actually start to rationalize not acting, coming up with all these brilliant sounding reasons why doing nothing is the smartest move. Your own brain starts working against you. So now that we've laid out the problem in all its glory, the Gita introduces its core solution. And listen, this isn't some simple life hack or a little trick. It's a total fundamental shift in how your mind operates. It's like installing a brand new mental operating system. And this new operating system is called Karma Yoga. The main idea is, it's pretty radical. It says you have a right to your actions, but you have absolutely no right to the fruits of those actions. Think about that. It's about learning to act with total commitment and excellence while completely detaching your happiness from the outcome, whether you succeed or fail. So look at this. On the left, that's kind of the default setting for most of us, right? We tie our sense of self-worth directly to the outcome. It's a perfect recipe for stress and anxiety. But on the right, that's the Karma Yoga approach. The whole focus shifts from the result to the quality of the action itself. The outcome? It's no longer this big emotional judgment on you. It's just data, something you can learn from for next time. Now, that sounds great in theory, but the big question is, how do you actually do this in real life? Well, the Gita doesn't just leave you with the theory. It offers a practical toolkit for building a stable mind, one that can stay totally engaged with the world on the outside while maintaining this core of detachment on the inside. And this is really the make or break question, isn't it? How am I supposed to practice detachment when I have deadlines, bills, and a million things going on? The brilliant part is, the Gita isn't telling you to go live in a cave. It's giving you concrete mental exercises for the real world. The whole process really breaks down into 3 key steps. First, you have to cultivate inner detachment. That means learning to watch your thoughts and feelings come and go without getting swept away by them. Then, once you can observe, you start to actively discipline the mind through practice. And when you combine those two, you build this incredible balanced awareness that allows you to stay calm and clear no matter what kind of chaos is swirling around you. Okay, so to really master your mind, you first have to understand the machine you're working with. You need to know its underlying system. And the Gita gives us this absolutely fascinating framework for just that. So, according to the text, our entire mental and even physical being is governed by 3 basic modes, or gunas. You can almost think of them as different software programs that are always running in the background of your mind, influencing pretty much everything you think, feel, and do. These 3 modes are always at play. First, you have sattva. That's the mode of clarity, harmony, and balance. It leads to peace and wisdom. Then there's rajas. This is the mode of passion, ambition, and activity. It drives us, but it also causes restlessness. And finally, you have tamas, which is the mode of inertia, confusion, and heaviness. This leads to laziness and inaction. The really important thing to get is that we are all cycling through these modes, all day, every day. And here is the crucial strategic insight. The goal isn't to try and get rid of the bad modes and only live in the good one. That's just impossible. The real goal is to build an awareness that's above all 3,
to become the observer who can see which mode is active and then consciously choose how to act, instead of just being a puppet of these automatic mental programs. And that brings us to the final part of our roadmap, where everything we've talked about really comes together. Understanding the crisis, applying the tool of detached action, and mastering your mind's operating system, it all leads to this incredibly powerful final synthesis. Near the end, the whole philosophy gets distilled into this one powerful idea. True freedom isn't about ditching your responsibilities and running away from your work. It's about abandoning your obsessive emotional attachment to the results of that work. The work itself, the labor, can actually become your path to freedom. And that, right there, is probably the single most important takeaway. The Gita is not a user manual for escaping the world. It is a strategic roadmap for becoming radically effective within the world. It's all about mastering the inner game so you can win the outer one, whatever your battlefield might be. So I'll just leave you with this one final thought to chew on. We spend so much time thinking that freedom means getting away from all the stress and responsibility. But what if real, lasting freedom isn't found by escaping the battlefield of life at all, but by learning how to master your engagement with it one moment at a time?